Hello everyone, my name is Micaiah McNabb, and I'm an undergraduate researcher in Dr. Cooper's lab here at the University of Kentucky. In the past few months we have been researching the effects of LPS exposure on crayfish models, and in this demonstration I'll be showing you how to analyze neuromuscular junction recordings as well as how to use that data to then calculate facilitation index for each of the trials. So when you first open your graph, it should look something like this. Now we are going to be analyzing 4 different spots on this graph. First, before the LPS, which is before it says here that the LPS was added. Then 5 minutes after we were done adding the LPS, which is around here somewhere. And then 20 minutes after the LPS. And then finally 5 minutes after the washout. Okay, so we're going to first start with before the LPS. And so we're going to find a nice flat region like this that's free of all this noise. And we're going to highlight an area like that. And then press over here in Window the Zoom View. And that'll give us a bit of a closer look into these EPSPs. And so we just need one set of 25 here. So if we just take the highlighter again and zoom in even closer, get even closer. Okay. And so now we have these 25 evoke responses. Now, they don't become that prominent until a bit later on, so we're going to just go ahead and skip the first 15 of them. So to do that, we are going to take this marker right here and count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 15. And we're going to go drop this off somewhere in the valley there. We'll zoom in a little closer to be a bit more accurate. But okay, so if we zoom in here, now we place this marker at the very bottom there. And then from there we can move our cursor to the very top of the evoked response. And the number that we are looking for is this 32.2 next to channel 1, and that'll tell us the difference in the voltage between the marker and your cursor. And so if you go ahead and write down or enter that number into your Excel document, or just write it down on a piece of paper, and then you are going to go to the 25th evoked response, which is down here. We'll place this in this valley, and then move the cursor to the top of this one, and then you'll write down the 39 in your file. And from there, you can then calculate the facilitation index by dividing the value you get for the 25th evoke response divided by the value you got for the 15th response, and then subtract 1 from that number. So if they're the same number, then your facilitation index will be 0, meaning that there was no facilitation. Okay, and then we're going to get out of the zoom and go to when we're done adding, which is right about there. So we're going to move the marker over, and then over here we'll tell you the time difference. So we're going to go to 5 minutes, so that'll be right about there. And so we're going to drop there and zoom into a region here. And then once again we're going to select one of these and zoom in. And then we're going to count over to the 15th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And going to drop the marker. Right here in this valley. And once again, we can zoom in to make sure that it's at the very bottom. Okay. And from there, we can check this one. We'll have to zoom up a little. Okay. And so you'd write down the 18.1, and then you'd move it over to the 25th. And for that, you have 26.8, or 28. Okay. And so you're going to do the same thing for 2 more sets of 25 here in this region. So we can go ahead and X out of this. So yeah, just select the next 2 sets of 25 and record the data for those as well. And then we are going to move our marker back to done adding. And then we're going to go over to 20 minutes, which is right about here. And once again, we're going to zoom in quite a bit here. Just pick any one of these, doesn't matter which one, as long as it's in the general area. And if you just write down this number here, that way you know which peaks you are using for each trial, and that'll just make it easier for people going back and checking your data. So if we zoom into here, count over 15 with the marker. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. And we're going to zoom in again. Okay, and so for this one, we have our value is about 21 millivolts. Then we can move it over to the 25th, and we have about 26.5 millivolts. So once again, you just plug that into the equation. Fi facilitated, or index facilitation index equals the 25th change in millivolts over the 15th change in millivolts, and subtract 1. And so the final set you'll do is after the washout, so we'll X out of here, and we'll go over to where it says wash, and we're going to go to where it says done washing 3 times. We'll go ahead and place the marker there, and then we are going to start from 5 minutes after washing is done. So we can drag this over to right about 5. And then we can zoom into a region over here. one of the sets of peaks. This one is about at 52 minutes 26 seconds, or 52. Let's zoom out of here. Okay, so it's about at 52 minutes 26.8 seconds. And so we will zoom in, go to the 15th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13, 14, 15. Drop it in the valley. Zoom in. And for this one, your change in voltage is around 20.5. And then we can drag this over to 25th. And it's about 28, at about 28.6 or 28.7. And so once you enter all of those values, you can then compare the facilitation index for each of those regions to figure out which region facilitation was the greatest. Thank you for watching.